Hello, welcome. Happy lunchtime. I'm Cherie and this is Direct Joy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I thought I'd come on. It's been a busy few weeks with launching Wise and Joy. So my normal structure and plan to bring you Direct Joy hasn't gone according to plan. So today I thought I'd show up and say hey and just do Direct Joy and welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy lunchtime. If you're catching the replay, hello, hello. My name's Cherie and I am a psychotherapist and ecotherapist. I run women's circles here in Bexhill. Around the fire, some ancient practices of wisdoms of sharing stories and dispelling shame. And what more can I say about myself? Wise and Joy. So Wise and Joy is my offering, which is a bridge between free work and one-to-one therapy. It's more of a short-term offering that allows you to dive in to more focused therapy. So check that out if that's something that you're interested in. But for today, it's January. Welcome, welcome, welcome to a new calendar. Welcome to whatever that means for you, because that means something different for all of us. And for some people that means new intentions. For some people that means wintering and snuggling down to the coziness of what we have accumulated and a reflective period of the year past. For others, it's just a long way till payday. So welcome to whatever you are, to however you show up today, whatever that means to you. So today we are going to talk about other people's opinions and some kind of remembering about who we were before we were told by the world who we should be. So that's a quote from a guy called Charles Bukowski. My pronunciation is pretty pants, so anyone who wants to correct me on that, go for it. But yes, thank you, Charles, for that quote, because remembering who we were before the world told us who we should be. I just want to take some time on that, because other people's opinions and what they mean to us and how they sit with us, that has a lot to do with how we show up in the world from a very young age. And that's understandable, okay? Because what our parents think of us, what the schooling system thinks of us, our grandparents, how our vibe is, how we show up in the world, how we're accepted, how we play by the rules, how we don't play by the rules. All of that is so very, very, very important to understand actually, who we are. It gives us an indication of, am I playing the right game? Am I inviting friends? Am I moving people away from me that actually I want to invite closer to me? Am I accepted in the world? Am I loved? Am I kind? Are people kind towards me? It creates this dynamic and understanding, which we get from the moment we're born, really, an understanding of actually other people's opinions matter, and other people's opinions have an impact on choices that we make and how we show up in the world. So I just want to slow that down and break that down a little bit, because actually what happens if we can get tied up in institutions of our own choice, of our own making, and otherwise not, okay, pretty sure you didn't choose your primary school. You may have had even less choice around your high school, or you may have had more choice. Have you chosen the workplace that you're in? Have you fallen into that? Did you choose many of the things that actually we find ourselves in part of institutions and society? I'm not saying this because I'm against societal constructs and institutions. I am not, of one that's been in You'll see from my about information and from my bios and from other Direct Joys and just knowing me. You know, I used to be a Naval Reserve, and I've been part of wonderful church communities, so supportive. Yeah, my schooling was pretty awesome. And yeah, so I'm not showing up saying no to social constructs and institutions. I'm showing up saying a big yes when they fit right for you. And that's the important bit, okay? Are rules there to be broken, or are rules there to support us? And which are the ones that actually feel right? Which are the ones that actually do the work for us? And which are the ones where actually other people's opinions or other people's rules show up and we go, actually, no, this doesn't feel right for me. This is not appropriate for me. And then we start rebelling, or other behavioural patterns kick in. So I just want to unpack that a little bit more today, because sometimes we can wake up in the middle of the night and be like, oh, what did I say? Oh, or you can come back from a social occasion and be like, oh, actually, what's that like for me? I said that and they said that. And, you know, it can actually get quite, if we've already got some anxiety around social situations, that can get even more. And check out my previous Direct Joy about social anxiety, which I'll pick more up on. Just hi to everybody who's live. Hello, welcome, happy lunchtime. What does it really mean to start having that communication with ourselves around remembering who we were before the world told us who we should be? Because remember, when we're told who we should be by something outside of us, a person, an institution, a set of rules, an understanding, a political system, whatever it might be, actually what happens then is that we start getting messages and understandings that maybe don't chime with our own autonomy or our own authority. Okay, and I kind of say this because this stuff underpins who we are. I notice that my hands do things that actually are part of the exploration in this work, because actually, how are we held by these understandings? What do they mean for you of what you should or shouldn't do? What would you like to do? If you had a remembering of who you should be before the world told you who you should be, what would that be? What would that be like? Donald Winnicott, who I know I quote way, not too often, there's no such thing, right? But I know I quote him. And Winnicott's work is so vital, because one of the things that he talks about is playing. And playing is a really, really important part of who we are as human beings. And we think, you know, oh, we're childish, it's childish, put away our childish ways. But actually, the creativity that we get through play, the space that it invites, what happens when we play with the idea in you know, when you get home from a party or a social gathering or a meeting, and you say, actually, 1 minute, okay, I'm a little bit anxious about how I showed up or what I said. Did I colour outside the lines? Was I rebellious? Have I said something? And that anxiety kicks in, right? So if you can create a space, if you can create a creative space where you can play with that idea and you can say, okay, what if that person took it like that? What does that mean? What if that person took it like that? What does that mean? How did I mean it? What was my intention? What could be the consequences? What could be the consequence? What could be the great delight that comes of that? Allowing ourselves to think fully about the whole spectrum of ideas, yeah, allows us to play with those ideas. So I don't mean play just in skipping and jumping and hopscotch and giggling and hide and seek, which obviously is awesome, yeah, and adult play is awesome, whatever that means to you. Hobbies, awesome. Anything that brings you joy, anything that makes you giggle, that is cool, and that is play. When we get to play, when we get to doodle in meetings, this is all playing, yeah, opening up a space for creativity. The main thing that will do is reduce your anxiety, but it will also invite you to a space where you can think about other people's opinions of that and your opinions of their opinions Arguably, other people's opinions of you are none of your business. They're theirs. That is quite an empowering statement. Other people's opinions of you are none of your business. What's it like to put a boundary around that and give that back to them and say, other people's opinions are none of my business, of me, are none of my business? It's quite interesting. It allows us to actually use what we perceive as a mirror, as a reflection. And that's information then. That's information that we get to use, information that we get to play with. And I really love that idea, because actually on the path of life, there's a lot of resistance. Yeah, there's a huge amount of resistance. And when we start to take that time to think about who we were before the world told us who we should be, taking back that authority, taking back that autonomy, starting to do that work and understanding, you're going to come across paths being shut. You're going to be like, well, how come I didn't follow that sporting thing through quite as much? How come that club that I really loved as a kid or a teenager, or that person, that best friend that I had for all those years, what actually has happened to that relationship? When you start to, and things would have popped into your mind when I say this, and I bring you to that place and I invite you to that space that actually is an imaginative, creative space. Okay, so remembering is going to bring up some grief. It's going to bring up some resistance. It's going to bring up some paths that were shut. But actually, what would it be like to pick up that football, that netball? What would it be like to start playing chess again? What would it be like to think about being in a debate club again? What would it be like to buy yourself a guinea pig because you loved guinea pigs when you were a kid? What would it be like to read your favourite book that you studied at GCSE but kept quiet because you'd be the geeky one? What would it be like to pick up that course that actually you were like, nah, I could never possibly do that? What would it be like to invite yourself to that place where you have the authority and you have the autonomy, rather than remembering what a social group or the media or the institution that you were part of, or where you were told, you're not good at this, you're not good at that, or a teacher said, oh, no, maybe not, that's an E. Yeah? Actually, what is it about to start embracing that? Because there are so many paths that lead us to where we're at today, but welcoming the path of actually, oh, okay, there's a blockage there. Where's the path of the least resistance now? Where's the path that I really feel that, okay, there's some grieving to do there. There's some stuff that, maybe there's some regrets of what you did or you didn't do. But what would it be like to put aside other people's opinions? What would it be like to put aside and actually say, do you know what? I'm going to act in true integrity, with kindness, with love, but actually true integrity. Taking that response and that choice to what it is you want to add creativity to, what it is you want in your relationships, what it is that you want, excuse me, what it is that you want from your wintering period, what it is that you want from your work, from your future choices, from your parenting choices, what it is you want from your mental health, from your emotional health, from your physical health. And I think for me, this is one of the things that, as you know, I'm a deep thinker and I love to come from all angles. I am a typical Scorpio, and I love to understand all the no's before I come to a yes. So I like to think broadly. I like to think beyond what is the average narrative. I love it. But I also love to feel the safety and security of being in groups where I feel trusted and supported. I love to be part of sports teams. I love to embrace all of what society has to offer. So how do we put these things together? How do we work it so that actually we get the best of the best and we leave the rest? It's about the response, it's about the choice, and it's about remembering who we were before we were told who we should be. Now, that doesn't mean stripping away all of that. It means remembering the bits that we've forgotten that we really want. What's one thing that you used to do that you loved and made your heart sing and made your belly on fire and made you get out of bed even though you were a teenager? What was it that made you actually buzz? What's that thing? I invite you to that place, because in that place, other people's opinions are their business. And you get to remember your business. And you get to have respect for other people's opinions, and you get to take the bits that work for you, but you get to have the ultimate authority and autonomy of who you are. And you get to play with the anxiety that comes up when it doesn't, and the resistance that comes up when it doesn't. There, as always, is so much more that I can say on these direct joys. So I invite you to kind of feedback anything that has come up for you. I love to hear everybody's feedback. I love to hear if you're new to listening to Direct Joy today, because if ever, has shown up on a Friday lunchtime. It may be a thing to continue, who knows? It's got to work though, right? It has to work for you, because when it works for you, you can give from that completely overflowing cup. All the phrases are coming out today, and that's the best place to give from, because then actually everything else is just finding that peace, finding that flow, finding that way that works for you. So if you want to hear more from me, I am regularly blogging, direct joying, doing Wise and Joy, and obviously my traditional multi-dimensional ecotherapy, psychotherapy. So I'm a psychotherapist, I'm a psychologist, and that's my main bread and butter. My aim is the bringing together of communities. It's the understanding and sharing of information about mental health and emotional well-being. That's what I'm called to do, and that's what I love to do. So any questions, any feedback, anything at all, connect with me, DM me, private message me, WhatsApp, however you show up and say hi. And for now, I wish you a wonderful Friday, and whatever is ending for you, hold yourself lightly. Give yourself some space to play and be creative with whatever that means. And if you can't, just find some space, have a cup of tea with yourself, and get in touch. I look forward to seeing you on the next Direct Joy. My website, cjoy.co.uk, is available for any of the updates. You can subscribe and get newsletters. There is Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and I'm now on TikTok. What's that about? So we'll see where that journey takes us, because I must say I'm quite skeptical. So any views on that, very much welcome. Because when I'm skeptical, that's a place to go into. Go deeper. Okay, for now, before I start chatting away too much, I look forward to seeing you all soon. Peace, love and joy, and have a wonderful weekend. Take care.